Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So today, this topic is brought to you by my swim this morning. I got up early, not willingly. The dog barked at something, and at 4:45, I was awake and ready to take on the day. So I got my swim in first thing this morning, as soon as the pool was open. And as I was swimming, I like to reflect and figure out what my day will look like, and the topics that I'll do, especially on Tuesdays for my podcast. And today, while I was swimming, I thought about the fact that I have been consistently training for almost 6 months now. I put together I did a ChatGPT training plan for long-term triathlon because, to be totally frank, I don't know when I'll be able to compete again, but I wanted to make sure I was ready if I did have the opportunity to compete. And I mean compete because my children are in sports and I love watching them play. So their sports take priority over my competitions, which is totally fine. That's the season that we're in, and I'm okay with that. And so I wanted to make sure that I was consistently training so that if I was able to do something, even if it was last minute, I wouldn't feel stressed about it. I would still be in the shape to be able to compete. And so it's been about 6 months, give or take. I started it in August. So August, September, October, November, December, January. So yeah, about 6 months, give or take. And it feels really good, but I'm going to be very honest with you about it. I don't think there's been a single week of those 6 months where I have done all of the workouts. Now, my workout plan is 6 days a week of workouts and 1 rest day. And usually on that rest day, I'll do yoga or stretching or just completely take the day off. But 2 of those are swim days, 2 are run days, 2 are cycling days. I do need to begin to incorporate a brick workout where it's a bike into a run kind of a thing. But nevertheless, I don't think there's been a single week in that 6 months that I have been able to compete, that I've been able to work out all 6 days. Whether it's, ran out of time on Saturday between soccer games, or wasn't feeling well Monday morning, or like whatever it was. But the thing is, I never actually stopped. And that is what gets people, is they get started with something, life happens, and they stop, and it becomes so hard to start back up again. And I know because I've been there before. And I am a huge proponent of a little progress is better than nothing. And so even on the days where I don't get my workout in at all, I don't wait until the following week to get started again. The next day I go, okay, you know what? I screwed up today. I'm going to be more intentional tomorrow. Or, you know what? It's actually okay. I needed this rest day more than I actually knew it, and I'm still going to get started tomorrow. I don't let myself get so derailed that it becomes too much energy to actually start again, that I talk myself out of it. And so when I do miss a day, which happens, we're all going to do it at some point, I don't let that snowball. I don't let that negative talk snowball me into well, I'm crappy, I suck at this, I should just never try to start something again. Because life is going to happen. There's going to be something that happens that you didn't plan for, whether it was you had to travel for a family emergency or a work thing, or you travel for work but you forgot your gym shorts, right? Like that happened to my husband this week. He was like, I forgot my gym shorts. He was like, I guess I might be working out in my bathing suit. And I was like, that's okay, get it done, right? But we let this idea of it not being perfect stop us from even getting started. And the truth is, it's never actually going to be perfect. It's never fully going to go according to your plan, most likely, especially if you're a control freak. Not a freaking chance, right? And so when you stop, when you get derailed, don't let it take so long for you to get back on track. Give yourself a whole bunch of grace, because guess what? You're human. You're going to make mistakes. Probably not going to get it right the first time. We talk about this a lot on my podcast, right? But starting back up again, it's okay. It's okay, right? So I like to relate this because I do have a couple of students right now that I'm working on with their dissertations, and I can see them get derailed, and it is frustrating because I know the story that's going through their head is, well, I'll just do it when I have more time, or I really don't have the time for it right now. And I am not suggesting that my students or any of my clients spend hours and hours and hours a day working on something. Progress can be 20 minutes. 20 minutes. 20 minutes is not a long time, but it is enough time to make you feel like you're actually moving the needle forward. This is what I had to do when I first got started as a business owner, as a mom of 4 at that time. I broke up all the things that I wanted to accomplish into 20 minutes. All the things that I was like, okay, I've got to do something for myself today, so I'm going to do a workout for 20 minutes. Now, some days, and I've talked about this before, some days everything goes according to my plan, and I finish all the things according to my schedule, and I don't have any extra emails that come through. There are no fires to put out, right? And then I have extra time. But most days are not like that. And so I have the ideal plan where it's like, okay, if the day actually goes all according to my plan, here's what it will look like. And then I have a realistic plan where it's like, okay, most of the day didn't go according to my plan, but I'm still going to make sure I move the needle on these things, right? So, for instance, one of my goals this year is to do incrementally more push-ups each day. And I started off the year, the full week of this year, doing 1 push-up each day, right? And what was it? I think it was Sunday night. Sunday night, I climbed into bed and I was real tired, but I had not done my push-ups. And so I laid there for a moment and I thought to myself, no one's gonna freaking know if I did my push-ups today. No one is holding me accountable. No one is gonna know if I don't do my push-ups. I don't want to get out of bed. And then the other part of me said, but you're gonna know. And it's just a couple of push-ups. Get out of bed, do your push-ups. Your future self is gonna thank you for it. And so I climbed myself out of bed in my pajamas and I did my push-ups real quick and I climbed back into bed, right? But this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, but that is building trust in myself that I'm going to do what I say. Yeah, there might be people who are going to hold me accountable to it because I've said it a couple of times now, right? But there was no one who was like, hey, Steph, did you do your push-ups today? No, there wasn't anybody there. There is no one who's like, hey, Steph, did you do your workout today? No. But the vision for myself is that I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm still active. And so I make the decisions based off of that person that I am, right? And going to be in the future. And so at the end of the year, when I can bust out 50 push-ups, which right now, doing 4 push-ups a day, 50 feels insurmountable. I'm not going to lie. But I'm on 4 right now. But I'm not, and heaven forbid, right? Like, not heaven forbid, but even if I miss a day, I'm not going to totally derail myself. This is why I have an issue with 75 hard. And we're going to go down this rabbit trail, right? 75 hard is you have to follow this thing for 75 days exactly. And if you ever miss a day, your 75 days starts over again. And I appreciate that. I love that masculine edge to that. It's not for me. There is no part of me that is like, you know what? I'm going to beat myself up if I have to restart this, right? Like, no, I get it. I know why it's useful. I also know it's not for me. But I've done the work. I know that, right? So, how do you keep yourself from stopping and starting and doing all of these things? Well, the very first thing you need to do is get an inventory of, one, do you actually have time to commit to this thing? Whatever it is, right? Now, full disclosure, I knee-jerk reaction committed to an endurance race in a couple of weeks, not a couple of weeks, the end of March. And I said yes, knowing nothing about this race at all, right? But I figured, you know what? My friend's not going to invite me to do this if she thinks I'm going to fail at it. So I said yes. I looked into it and I went, holy crap, what did I get myself into, right? Now, the beauty of this is I have been training cardio, right? Swimming, cycling, running. I have all that down. This endurance race involves a whole lot of lifting and lunges and squats. Not my specialty, but I looked at my schedule last week and I was like, okay, let me create a new schedule for this. Where can I fit this in, right? So on my swim days, which are Tuesday and Friday, it's only 30 minutes of swim, nothing else extra, right? So I incorporate 15 to 30 minutes of this kind of lifting stuff, right? On the other days, I am going to continue to do my push-ups and add in a little bit more, but it's not like I am adding 4 hours of time in the gym to my schedule, because that won't even work, right? I have no intention of actually winning this race, right? I'm going to do it. It's going to be fun. If I win, that's cool, but that's not my expectation. My intention is to do something that challenges me, right? And so it's going to be challenging, but I have started to incorporate these small little pieces throughout the day so that I don't get overwhelmed. So again, you've got to take an inventory. One, do you actually have the time to do the thing? Be honest with yourself, because if you're not honest with yourself, it's just going to turn into overwhelm. So do you have time to do the thing? Okay. Number two, do you really even want to do the thing? Yep, that's a big one. And then number three, are you willing to give yourself grace if it doesn't go according to your plan? Okay. And then number four, have an ideal plan and a backup plan. Okay. Now, I don't mean a backup plan because I think you're going to fail, right? I mean the backup plan in case life gets a little bit crazy, you can still continue to move that needle forward, right? So again, if your goal is to post on social media every day, whatever it is, right? Like, you don't need to be spending an hour on social media before you post. You can post the first thing that comes to mind just to be engaged, right? Like, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be your perfect plan every day. It can be a realistic one, and that's still moving the needle forward. So I do encourage you to keep going with your thing, even if it's the tiniest little bit, right? What was the name of that book? There was a book that I read where he had his morning routine was an hour, or his morning routine was 5 minutes. Depending on his day, he took his hour or he took the 5 minutes, right? And that is incredible, because some days you're going to have the hour, other days you're going to only have the 5 minutes, right? But you can continue to move the needle forward, and that's really what we want. That's encouraging to us. So if you feel like you keep stopping the things that you're starting, get honest with yourself about it. Do you have the time for it? Do you want to do it? Are you willing to give yourself grace? And do you have some flexibility in that plan? Okay, so I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye, love.